And we begin with breaking news that is just coming in. This is the Iranian President Pezeshkian, who has said that his country will not remain silent after US-Israeli strikes on a school and a Tehran hospital. In fact, he's taken to X and has said that attacks on hospitals are a strike at life itself, and that attacks on schools target a nation's future. The world must condemn it. In fact, he's gone on to add that Iran will not remain silent or yield to these crimes, adding that Iran has claimed 168 were, in fact, this while Iran has claimed 168 were killed at the school in the south on Saturday, while the incident at Tehran's Gandhi hospital took place on Sunday. So this is the latest statement that's coming in from the Iranian president, who says that the country will not remain silent and that it will retaliate against the strikes being carried out by the US and Israeli forces. So this is with respect to the strikes, the airstrikes that were carried out by the US and Israeli forces on schools and hospital is what is reported as of now. Iranian President Pezeshkian maintaining that Iran remains defiant and will retaliate against these strikes that target civilians. And joining us live on the broadcast is Chris Doyle. He's Director of Council for Arab-British Understanding. He's joining us live on the broadcast. Mr. Doyle, your quick thoughts first up on the statement that came in from President Trump, who says that he took the decision to launch a war against Iran because it was the last best chance to stop Tehran from building its nuclear capacities, thereby making it amply clear the ambition or the objective, so as to say, of the US forces.
I'm afraid that statement does not hold water. I think that the best chance of doing that actually came in the form of negotiations, which the Omani foreign minister made very clear were progressing and had actually achieved quite a few areas of agreement. And I think that it would have been far preferable to have absolutely exhausted every last possible chance to get a diplomatic solution rather than going to war. So I'm afraid that what President Trump has said just doesn't pass muster. But also, you know, in terms of trying to ensure that Iran doesn't get a nuclear weapon, President Trump himself has repeatedly stated that Iran's nuclear program was obliterated, I quote. Last June 2025, in that 12-day war initiated by Israel, but also joined in by the United States. So if that program was obliterated, there is not really an imminent threat involved here that Iran would be some time away from getting to a workable nuclear weapon. And I think that far more time could have been given to diplomacy rather than a high-stakes gamble on a war with Iran with little planning and little strategy.
Yes, Mr. Doyle, that's exactly the point I was coming to with respect to the losses that the US has suffered. In fact, 3 servicemen have lost their lives. They've been killed in action. Military aircraft of the US forces, they were downed on Kuwait airspace, though by the Kuwaiti air defenses during a live combat operation with the Iranian forces. Talk to us about, in your thoughts, what could be the game plan of President Trump in the days to come, because he's also said that this war, the conflict, could go on well beyond 4 weeks.
The trouble is about predicting what President Trump's game plan is. It seems to change not just every day, but almost every hour. So for the first time from the Trump administration today, we hear that boots on the ground is not ruled out, that American forces could be deployed in some fashion within Iran. Now, that was certainly not something that was considered even a week or two ago. I think what we are seeing is why so many of us were skeptical about the advisability of going to war with Iran in such circumstances, because war is dangerous. It is high risk. You are going to see civilians dying, you're going to see soldiers and fighters on all sides dying, and you're going to risk calamity, environmental disaster, but also this conflict escalating across the region. And that is certainly what has happened. We are seeing now Israeli strikes on Lebanon after Hezbollah had launched rockets towards Israel. We are seeing Iran carrying out drone and missile strikes at nearly all the GCC countries, but also Iraq and elsewhere. So this is becoming harder to contain. It's very much harder to see where the exit strategy is. Where does this all end? And what do we actually see as having been achieved by this military